Hello, my name is Lindsay Hebert and I'm the performance manager here at the Edinburgh Dungeon, and we're going to be doing a bit of a makeup masterclass with you, showing you a few of the looks that we use here in the dungeon. We're going to be using some MAC makeup products as we have a partnership with the MAC makeup brand, but we are also going to be using some different makeups that you can pick up in your local costume stores, which are water-based makeups and they wash off quite easily. So the first makeup look that we're going to be doing on Ewan, who is my kind assistant today, is a makeup look for a torturer. So our torture character here is in the dark all the time, so he's very grubby, he's got a very dirty job. So we're going to be using quite a lot of browns and trying to create a quite tired, sort of quite nasty look. So the first product that we're going to use is MAC Face and Body, and we use a very white pearlized colour here. And we just basically use this like a moisturiser, and you spread this all over your face. And what this does is it evens out your skin tone and basically just gives you a much easier base to work on. Obviously girls don't have much stubble, so it's much easier to get onto girls, but with guys you've just got to take a little bit more time sort of rubbing it into areas where you've got a bit of stubble. Okay, the next product that we're going to take is from MAC, and it's basically a sculpting powder, and we use two of these. We have two different colours. One is called Sculpt, and that's a lighter brown, and one is called Definitive, and that's a slightly darker brown colour. And we basically use these to make the sockets of your eyes appear a little bit more sunken in. So you take that all over the lid, like so, and it basically just gives the eye, it just makes the eye pop a bit more and look a bit more sunken. And we also take this underneath the eye as well. So the next thing we're going to use is we're going to use some MAC eyeshadows, and we use two of the MAC eyeshadows. We use one which is called Fig One and one which is called Blackberry, and they're actually quite pretty colours. They're purples, but what we're going to use these for is to make a bag underneath the eye, because our torturer's had a lot of work to do recently. A lot of torturing's been going on, so he's a little bit tired, and it also gives the impression of a bit more of a meaner character to have these quite big bags underneath the eyes. And what you're basically doing is basically following the natural shadow that we all unfortunately have underneath our eyes already, although Ewan doesn't have very big bags under his eyes. So again, you're not using too much product, and you're just following the natural line. And the best lesson here is less is more, because you can always add more on if you feel that you want to make his bags look a bit darker. And you can use both the purple colours just to bring the bag up a bit and make it look like it's, I suppose, bags are full of water underneath your eyes. And it just makes the eyes look nice and tired. Okay, so the next product that we're going to use is the Sculpt again, and what we're going to do is, a torturer wouldn't be a very nice character, so we're going to bring down the mouth slightly, and we do that by using different shading techniques. And we use our Sculpt and our Definitive again, and we basically just follow again the natural lines of the face. As you get older, you start to get droopier lines that come sort of from your nose area, and it just brings your face down, and you also get these lines down by your mouth as well, and it just means that the face becomes a bit droopier and a bit scarier looking. The next product that we use are MAC paint sticks, and these come in loads of different colours, and they're basically just tubes of very intense colour. This is a white one that I've got just here, and what we do is we melt these down so that we can use them on a palette. And what I'm basically going to do is I'm going to use the red paint stick, and I'm going to make him look quite sore in areas, because his skin wouldn't have been in the best condition, around the mouth. And also, because our torturer does like to use heat in a lot of his torture implements, they would have been smoky, so his eyes would probably have a little red tinge around them, just because there'd be a lot of smoke down there and fire, and it would probably irritate the eyes. What we also do is we also use things like, this is actually a hair bun, and we use things like this to create a sort of mottled, dirty effect on the skin. Like I said, the torturer's skin wouldn't be in the best condition, from being down in the dark all the time. So this creates a nice sort of mottled effect on the skin, which you just, whenever you place anything on the skin, you should always usually use your hands to sort of blend it in. What we also use is a brown paint stick to create a sort of dirtier feel, and you just sort of place that on with your hands and rub that in, and it just gives the character, you know, he's obviously down in a prison. It's not the nicest of environments, so the dirt can just make the character's face pop ever so slightly. We also use a product from MAC called Gloss. Now most people probably think you use gloss on your lips to make them look nice and shiny, but what we actually use the gloss for is to make ourselves look quite sweaty. So we place this in all the sort of areas where you would where you get sweaty, so the sort of top of your lip area and a sort of on your forehead, and it just gives a nice glowy effect. And especially when you're down in the dungeon, you can catch the light and you can see the nice sweaty effect it gives, and it just basically makes you look a little bit disgusting. And the next thing that we're going to use is we're going to use our red paint stick again, because people generally aren't quite compliant with torture, so the torturer probably would get the odd scratch here and there, and basically we just use the red paint stick on a very, very thin brush, and we just give him some scratches. And the next thing we use is tooth enamel, and this is a colour called nicotine, which basically stains your teeth a nice nasty yellow colour. So the first thing you have to do when you're putting this on is give your teeth a bit of a dry, which you was just doing just now for me, and then it basically just paints on to the teeth and gives them a nice rotten, disgusting yellow look. Don't worry too much about getting this on your lips and things. It comes off, and basically you just use a toothbrush when you're finished and it comes off easy peasy. So that's our finished torturer look.